Star Trek, I know what it is. Ain't you had enough of this stuff? I can't wait. Picardly wait.
All right, that's close enough for horseshoes and grenades. Yeah.
No. I can't wait.
All right. Sorry, Sean.
Neither of which I believe are sayings.
Well, good enough for jazz is a saying.
Oh, it is.
Well,
okay.
I don't know.
I'm glad I never heard the expression good enough for jazz.
I've never heard that one either.
All right. Well, hey, everybody.
Where's my horsey?
My favorite song is Old Town Road.
well, we just got done listening to another song, or part of it.
Hey.
But hey, everybody. Welcome to Can't Picardly Wait. It's that podcast that you may have listened to. We're watching that Star Trek Picard show, and you know it. My name is Wade Bowen, and with me is Sean Parada.
Yeehaw.
And Glenn Hall.
I object to all of this.
And also we have a couple of extra guests here. First off, I've listened to your complaints about these two people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I've got Kristin from, Toronto the last time I talked to you, but you're from Montreal now, right?
Yes, I am, and I've got my tea Earl Grey hot, ready and waiting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
We finally got another resident expert, as it will be. But also, we got another guest here all the way from the first episode of this podcast. A lot of y'all really may remember Benny Scheckner.
Yeah.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Hey.
Hey, Benny. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. What was the name of this most recent episode?
The Fox Begins. Nope.
Is that really
The
it?
Impossible
Jesus.
Box.
The Impossible Box.
The Impossible Box. Okay. Yeah. So did anybody have anything up top they needed to get off their chest?
I have a couple of things.
Benny, what did you think of the episode?
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to shout out Dominic Patton, who hosts Deadline's Star Trek Picard podcast.
What?
What the fuck?
Why?
And I want to tell him, go fuck yourself, buddy. We live in the same city.
Oh.
I will find you, and I'm gonna ream you out. So,
Wow.
Right. I don't quite understand, because I was pretty sure there's only one Star Trek Picard.
Well, that's what I
podcast
heard.
out
Dominic Patton.
Yeah.
Dominic Patton, eat a pile of shit.
there. Okay,
Whoa.
this is the first I've heard that there are other Star Trek Picard podcasts out there. So this is
Yeah, but I guess it's time we feud with them.
That's what I'm trying to start
Yes.
beef. I'm trying to get some
Let's
beef
start
going.
beef.
Yeah.
Put that beef on the grill.
all right. So what does he have to say? How do you think his views of this episode maybe match up with what you think, Benny?
He's more anti-Semitic.
Oh.
Whoa.
Other
okay.
than that, exactly the same, but more anti.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, we're already pretty anti-Semitic.
No.
No? Oh, we're not? Oh, I'm doing a record after this. That's a different...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
God.
Please don't do the Stormfront podcast.
I should have known for your fucking beard.
Dude, I am the Stormfront.
No, Sean,
I don't know
no.
why I'm doing this. I don't know what's happening.
No.
Sean is only friends with me for opposition research.
I'm doing research.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I love everybody. This is not me.
All right, so
I also wrote a list of 13 things that Patrick Stewart looks like.
okay.
All right, you ready? And I figure after each thing, you guys can kind of comment and say if you think that he looks like that.
Okay.
Oh, spit it out.
A tube sock after you take it off at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
A baseball that's melting.
That one, all right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
That one I see more than the tube sock. Sure, okay. I'm not gonna rank all of them.
A deformed bowling pin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A white Pokemon.
Sorry. So, not to put you...
What would that Pokemon's name be?
I was just going to say that. Not to put you on the spot.
Boy.
A gayer Ben Kingsley.
No, I don't know about that one.
All right, well, how about this? A less gay Vin Diesel.
Okay, close, warmer.
Yeah. That's getting there.
Or an equally gay Stanley Tucci.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Are
I
any-
think you got there? Yeah.
Are Stanley Tucci and Ben Kingsley gay?
I don't.
No, but he's
think
gayer.
So.
Oh, I see.
Doesn't-
Oh, on the spectrum, I see.
We're not here to.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is not...
Sexuality is a spectrum, Glenn. Come on.
Yeah.
I understand now. I get it.
We're here to celebrate luxury gay space communism.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even if the show's not.
No.
Okay, a recalled chia pet.
Oh, because it couldn't grow the... I get it.
Yeah.
Couldn't grow the hair.
A Muppet with a swollen hand inside it.
Oh,
Okay.
Muppet that's been left out in the rain.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Good punch up. Well done.
An elderly bird. A second draft of Howie Mandel.
Okay, that's
Okay,
my
that's a
favorite
good one.
so far.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A globe of Tatooine.
That one's a.
We're mixing
Yeah.
sci-fi properties here.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
it.
it. And also
that's all
not
about.
accurate. Like,
That's a psychedelic one. I don't know. That one's all metaphor.
Interesting. Yeah.
Or this is the last one, a very enthusiastic Nilla wafer.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
right.
my list of 13 things that Patrick Stewart looks like.
I mean, boy, I love. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
well, I got some problems with it.
Uh-huh.
Because these fucking guys have not stopped roasting me over the past 4 weeks over my segment, and they sat through every second of this shit, and they didn't say anything.
This shit was great!
No!
Hey! Be nice
this
to
shit
our.
was- this shit was
be
great.
nice. Hey, Benny's a guest here.
I wrote jokes for this podcast.
Yeah, Benny's a guest.
Calm down.
Glenn, your dry Nate Silver-esque analysis of Star Trek does not compare to Benny's whimsical joke writing sensibilities.
Well,
Right.
I think that's wrong, respectfully.
Well, all right. I mean, how many of those did you come up with watching this latest episode, Benny? Tell me. We're here to talk about this episode.
Watching this episode?
Right, they came from, was it from like when he was on the Borg cube or
Yeah,
when he
you-
was like beaming down or what?
Yeah,
sort
of course, when he was on the Borg cube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which part on the Borg cube?
Right. What was he?
The part when he's on the Borg cube and he's thinking to himself, Patrick, what am I gonna do?
His name's not Patrick
His
on the
name-
show. You know that,
know
right?
it's-
It's,
Yeah.
Benny.
it's Jean-Luc.
It's Jean-Luc fucking Picard, Benny.
It's hey everybody, it's me, Patrick.
Patrick?
What? What are you talking about?
Benny, did you? Benny.
Oh no.
Benny, have you even watched Star Trek?
Ugh, no.
You didn't watch the episode?
No.
What?
Benny!
No.
You know that this is I guess, one of two Star Trek Picard podcasts out there. So, part of the conceit is that you've watched the fucking episode.
Guys,
what
I'm
you're
so
gonna talk
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you should be sorry.
Benny! Now we're stuck with Glenn!
No. I'm sorry.
Benny!
All right. Listen, we've also gotten your feedback. I know you love it when we yell at Glenn, but
Yeah. I was just gonna say, great for the iTunes reviews.
And you know what? It really hurts my feelings. I don't like it.
right. But Benny, if you haven't watched the fucking episode, what are you even fucking doing here?
What are you doing here, Benny?
Do you even have a spreadsheet?
I just want to be included. I just want to be included.
So,
Watch next week's episode and you can come back, but fuck off!
Oh my god.
yeah, I mean,
Can-
I was wondering what was going to come up in collar talk this week, and you really shit the bed on this one.
You don't even know what collars they were
I
wearing.
could still do collar talk. All right. Well, listen, I guess I'll go, but I do just want to say one thing before I go.
All right.
Dominic Patton, you hate Jews.
Benny,
Benny, cut him off!
cut him off.
Hang
Get him
up.
out of here. Get him
Hang
out of
on.
I do
here.
want to say one more thing.
Get the hook.
The last time I was on, I mentioned that I wanted people to troll me, and no one did. So I'm just going to put it out there again.
Maybe now they will, because you fucking
Please.
failed us.
Yeah, they might now.
What's your Twitter? Give them the old
Please,
Twitter.
please, some listener of this podcast, my Twitter is @Benny Scheckner, BennyScheckner.
Benny,
please troll me.
Benny,
get fucking mean.
Benny,
hurt my feelings. Say something horrible.
Benny, you've upset the baby. Now, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Benny,
All right, I'll go.
baby.
It's enough of me.
Get the.
I think you'd better go.
All right, but please troll me. And listen, look, I love you all. I'm sorry that I just.
I love you, Benny. We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't watch the Patrick show. I just haven't seen the
Not
All right.
still. Get out of here.
Get out of here,
Get the
Benny.
fuck out of here.
Bye, guys.
Go make a spreadsheet.
Don't do that.
Yeah, do that.
Glenn, nobody wants your spreadsheets, Glenn.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right, we have another guest here, and Kristen, I just want to apologize for all of that.
Oh, he's gone.
Kristen, you shouldn't have had to see that.
Oh.
That ugliness.
Yeah, that was a bit uncomfortable and weird, and I feel like I wasn't in on the joke, but that's all good. So.
I mean, I think you now understand what it's like to just be a listener of this podcast.
Yeah, as I am.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
Anyway, Wade and Kristen, if you guys want to talk about Star Trek, Glenn and I will just listen quietly.
All right. Yeah, so this latest episode was really Picard going back on a Borg cube for the first time since he was Locutus, according to the episode.
Locutus of the Borg.
Yeah.
Which
What, didn't he go on one in First Contact?
that's what I was trying to remember. Did he not?
I couldn't remember either.
I want to say he did, but I haven't rewatched it yet, so I could be wrong about that.
I was like, well, surely they'd know if he did. They wouldn't have called that out.
He
but-
definitely interacts with the Borg Queen in that movie.
Yes,
so...
yes, that.
Yeah,
But-
he'd have to be on the cube for that, wouldn't he? I mean, and it's actually funny. I actually found at a thrift store a special edition copy of the DVD of First Contact, and I did buy it.
Oh.
But for some reason or another, I haven't watched it again yet. So
Sounds like an awesome
I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, they destroy, and then the Borg have to go back in time to try to stop the First Contact or whatever. So maybe
Right, so
he
the
doesn't
Vulcans
set
don't.
foot on it.
Gotta go back in time.
And by coincidence, before we started recording, I was watching the other instance where James Cromwell was on Star Trek in TNG.
Oh, he's also shows up as an alien on DS9 at some point.
Yeah, he's in it 4 or 5 times.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't know he played...
Yeah.
Because I'd heard that he had played more than one role, but I didn't realize it was more than 2. That's...
Yeah, there's an episode with him and Quark or have to defuse a quantum torpedo or something that's before it explodes.
Sure. Classic
But-
stuff.
Yeah.
Also...
But anyways,
Oh, yeah.
to just get into this episode right off the bat here, we're like, oh, wait a minute. We're already referencing the past. So, I mean, it's just like watching this show. I've had a lot of feelings about fandom and whether I care about fandom and what this show is in comparison to that, whether it's good, whether it's what the fans want or who gives a fuck. But at the same time, if you don't know the history... I was watching this with a woman who does not know Star Trek very well, and she was lost and annoyed and kind of angry. And I feel like a lot of the old school TNG fans are also annoyed. They're not lost, but they're angry at this show.
Yeah. You mean she didn't, the giant awkward info dump at the beginning of the episode didn't work and catch her up to speed?
Right? And so I'm glad that we got you on, Kristen, because you are a person that knows their stuff more than these two jabronis over here.
Hey. I'm trying.
Now I own it.
He's not, but I am.
Hey,
You're trying, but you still don't fucking know.
hey, look, I'm just stating facts.
Yeah.
So don't get mad at me just yet. We can yell at Glenn later.
Oh, we will.
All right, fine. I'll take it.
So, Kristen is you've been listening with us on the Rules of Acquisition for a while, and you've been on past episodes of Disco Home Companion.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad to have you here. But yeah, I want to get your perspective. I've talked way too much about what I think about everything. But yeah, you're coming in, we're 5-6 episodes into Picard now.
Yeah, what's my kind of, where am I at with Picard at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, this isn't a big comparison, but it's loads better than Discovery.
Yeah.
But I kind of especially watching this episode, I kind of felt is Michael Chabon okay? This is really depressing. There is so much or even Rios with his so low self-esteem. It's the hookup with him and Girardi. It's he's this is probably a bad idea and you're really upset. And this will not make things better. And she's well, it will for a little bit. And he's okay. And they go off together. And it's that is just not not good.
Yeah, what a bummer of a hookup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. And it's like this is a really it is a very dark Star Trek, but it's also just a really like downer kind of Star Trek, and it's like, come on guys. I mean, it's
That's a good way of putting it.
I haven't seen two sad broken people that horny and since watching Mrs. Fletcher on HBO.
Oh.
Hey, that's a good show.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Like the hookup with Soji and the Romulan dude is like, yeah, okay, that is a familiar relationship trope. It's, you know, she's young, she's getting jerked around by some asshole she met. Like that's we've all been there, we lived through it, it's all fine. But it's like the kind of older people having their sad hookups is really super sad. And I think what is good about Picard is not anything that's added to it. It's what makes it good is the character of Picard being so real and such a rich character, which Discovery really doesn't have. And I think the writing is a higher level of competence. It's just didn't have the same chaotic stuff going on as Disco did, so it is a lot more just well put together. I have lots of problems with it, which I'm sure we'll get into. But overall, it's kind of like it's starting out from a better place than Discovery, just a super depressing one.
Yeah, like the characters are grounded in a way that nobody in Discovery really felt, because it was just, they didn't have time to set them there, just moving all over the place. But, yeah.
But it might be like too much of a bummer. Like it is definitely
It is kind of a bummer, yeah.
It's hitting you over the head with a little bit, or like everyone is sad. They're all sad.
Yeah. Everybody except for Eleanor, who...
Right, and Eleanor
surprisingly is the comic relief that actually almost works, which
Yes,
Eleanor,
the child assassin is the teenage assassin is the comic relief character that is saying something, right?
Yeah,
right. The Stoic Zatoichi clone,
the fool.
Which brings me to my only comment truly about this episode.
Oh wow,
boy, and then you can leave like Benny.
And I'll leave, and then I'll just leave.
Oh, good. No status report. Oh, my God.
Yeah, right?
Eventually, I'll leave, too. And then two Star Trek fans can talk, and the listeners can have what they want.
When, I think it's Girardi and Rios are talking about something.
After he plays shirtless soccer?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And...
Fucking hot. Getting me all wet.
Sean.
What?
What's up? That's what? That's how...
Sean.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Well... Elnor says, "Oh, you guys are talking. I should outbutt." And nobody says anything.
Oh, yeah.
And then he later says, "Oh, am I in-butting right now?"
Yeah.
And nobody says anything.
Right,
and I felt like I was going fucking crazy.
It does feel like it wasn't established that he doesn't know English idioms. Like, that wasn't something that was talked about earlier, and now that's just a thing he does?
Right. It'd be like if they put no effort in TOS to, like, call attention to the fact that Spock is a Vulcan and Vulcans don't express emotions, and then, like, you didn't know any of this, and then just randomly, he was just like, what is sadness? Like, just,
right.
Like, fucking what? Like, outbutt.
Yeah. Maybe it's just idioms in the future have progressed, and that's just the way that language changes.
All I know is, in The Good Place, when they show the how time works, and it's Jeremy Bearimy,
right?
And there's a dot on the I, and Chidi says, "The dot on the I, that's what broke me. This is what broke me, was output."
Yep, that's fair.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, what exactly happened on this episode? We have Picard shows up, and we have Soji and Narek doing
dream analysis.
Yeah. So it goes back and forth between we have the ship and we have the scenes on the Borg cube. It kind of cuts in between them. We get to catch the viewer who apparently has never watched TNG up to speed or any other Star Trek. We get apparently Elnor knows nothing about the Borg, which is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah,
but we
crazy.
Yeah, it seems like they're.
I guess it's like, like every now and then you run across a teenager who's like never heard of Hitler, right? I guess it's something like that. It's like he's only been living in his little Romulan assassin bubble, so he wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Narek is still jerking Soji around and trying to make her reveal that she's an android, apparently using sex and emotional manipulation, which seems about as good as a reason as any. But she's having some recurring dream about trying to get into her father's lab and hook up. We talked about in this thunderstorm. Girardi and Rios have their depressing hookup.
Very depressing.
Very depressing. Raffi's back on the snakeweed. She manages to get them into the Borg cube by this really weird manipulative call to her friend. Everyone's very manipulative in this episode.
Yeah, manipulative and bummed out. And Raffi is like just sober enough to get them in, and then just goes back to being like a complete mess. And hers is justified, but like,
yes.
What is her arc moving forward?
Well, but she just lied to her son in the last episode. I'm clean. I've been clean for a while, and like is instantly drunk and doing snakeweed again, right? And everyone's like, good Picard, good Jean-Luc Picard face acting. He like sees her take out her vape pen and is like, yeah, doesn't say anything, but just reacts to it. Yeah,
like that scene worked pretty well, but it was her convincing. It's like, oh, this is good, but then it's like her friend's like, don't ever call me again, and I guess it's a credit to the actor. Raffi is like, she's like, yeah, oh my life fucking sucks, it's crumbling around. Like, I don't know.
I worry that like that they're building her towards like a going out, like in a blaze of glory, because once you get to that character's at like rock bottom, and I can't imagine where she could climb up.
Well, if they can prove the conspiracy, if QAnon gets proven true,
right? If she was right all along, yeah, that's fair.
The Great Awakening happens, and then she gets to.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm into it.
This is why they're all old, because they're all QAnon people. They're all old people, right? So they're old people conspiracy theories. But I don't know, like, Raffi was all bitter about her life back on Earth, but it seemed kind of okay. She had this cute little house in the desert, and she was just hanging out, doing snakeweed.
Yeah.
And that seems cool. That doesn't,
So that's the other thing is, I guess this and the last episode have like pretty much formally established that, like, snake root is a narcotic. Like, obviously it was coded as vaping when she first did it, and then she says like to her son is like, oh yeah, I'm clean now, I'm not on the snake route anymore. And I'm like, I was a little surprised, because it's like, I don't know, that might be something where I needed a little more context of like.
I mean, it's clear that it's a drug. Yeah.
There's drugs, Glenn.
I guess
people also vape weed. And it's
people use vapes for drugs.
Yeah, but it's
but there's a difference between it being weed and it being heroin. Like, it's like
right.
Because if they coded it as similar to weed, then like that absolutely tracks with anything.
They coded it as space drugs pretty effectively to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Glenn, you just in general, you want a different show that goes into like such nuance over the stuff that other people, and I'm not trying to, but other people just go, yeah, all right, it's drugs, and we all move on with our lives.
Yeah, I agree though. Like, it should be like, is it drugs, or is it weed? Because weed is illegal here in Canada, and no one gives you shit if you do it.
Right.
And it's not going to affect your life to the point where it destroys your. I mean, not necessarily. Maybe it can, but as a general thing, it's like, it's pretty easy to just vape a little bit and hang out, right?
Right.
But it's not going to be like a super destructive thing that's going to destroy your family and make your son disown you and you never get to meet your grandchildren.
Yeah.
That's pretty extreme for some vaping, right?
Right. I think that's the scene that sort of like, solidifies that, like, that it's not just weed, like that she's on something that's like fucking up her life. Yeah.
She's on hard drugs, and it's
right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And whether it's the drugs or the QAnon, that's her problem has been a little uneven with
both.
the show. Like,
that's for sure true. Like, where, and I mean, is one just like a byproduct of the other?
Right.
Like, is just she believed this conspiracy theory that we're gonna find out is true so hard that like it led her to isolation and drugs and
right. I think it's just a helpful illustration of how she's bottomed out. Like
Yeah.
I think they are like sort of hammering her like too hard into the ground though. Like, I think she's definitely, we need to see her bottomed out for whatever they're doing, but like she is fucking sad and makes me makes me very sad to see her.
Yeah. So anyway, Soji is starting to figure out that she's not a real person. She scans all of her childhood memorabilia, which weirdly she has real photographs, which I'm old, and I don't have a lot of real photographs because
Right.
we live in the age of digital cameras, and her childhood journals, which fair enough I do have, but like she has like her childhood stick drawings up in her room, which is a very odd thing to decorate your like dorm room
Yeah,
with.
that's a reach.
That's the kind of thing that you overreach when you're trying to convince a robot that it's a real boy. Like, here's your childhood drawing. Like, oh, you know what? It's a little on the nose. Maybe that it was a little too much. Maybe I should have.
Yeah.
Right, I want to see where she looks at that and goes, well, right, why would I ever have had this?
You're right.
Of course I'm a robot with implanted memories. That was
So
stupid.
they're all apparently exactly 37 months old. She tries to call her mom. Her mom is obviously a program of some kind, and it gave me major Control vibes from Disco. And I was like, if this turns out to be Control in charge of everything, I am literally going to scream. Picard gets on the cube. This is a really actually kind of great scene. He's got some flashbacks to being Locutus. And there's a really great scene with him and Hugh, and they go and see the ex-Borg being rehabilitated. He has a real breakthrough where he stops. Because before, when they were having the Borg info dump, he's like, they're monsters, blah, blah, whatever. And here he says they're not monsters, they're victims or something like that. So he's feeling compassion for the former Borg, who are apparently like persona non grata. No one wants them. They can't leave the cube. They can't reintegrate in society, which is like also like super depressing. Thanks, guys. Nice.
Yeah, they're basically like a leper colony.
Yeah.
Yeah, of stateless people.
And we had questions about that in an earlier episode of like what they were actually doing with these people. And so this was good to see that kind of fleshed out in this episode.
Do you know what? Considering last week's episode, I was like, what are they doing to these Borg? Are they taking those Borg parts and then selling them? Is this some kind of front thing? Right? It's like, that would be kind of nice to find out about, but no. Narek leads Soji through some kind of made-up Romulan ritual where it's like a kind of maze walk with him shouting questions at her thing, where his sister, and by the way, that actress looks really stupid with the Romulan ears on. She was cute without them, but like every time I see her in the ears, I'm like, I don't believe those ears.
Yeah, they work better on some than others.
Yep.
Yeah, they stick out too much. They should have like
They're
glued them down or something. Yeah. So they're just trying to get information on where the rest of the robot girls are. So he gets her to go through the dream. She realizes she's a robot. She gives him some clue about 2 moons and electrical storms. So they found where the rest of the robots are. He tells her, you're not real. He kisses her and says goodbye. And then he's been playing with this sort of like Romulan Rubik's Cube thing, which is like a cube that will open up and you can put stuff in, which would actually be a pretty cool toy. If, I can imagine my kids liking that. And apparently it has poison in it. So he locks her in the room and he's going to poison her. And I have to say, what's the point of a robot that you can poison?
Right. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they said it was radiation.
Yeah, they did say radiation.
Or whatever. Data from TNG is impervious to radiation, most radiation,
Right.
and poison. The vacuum of space.
Right, so later models are not impervious to radiation?
Well, maybe because they're so close to...
Right.
No.
For your stealth robot that's got to prove, to come pass as human, maybe it's...
But what's the point?
same.
But why do you care? Why would you build that into a robot that they can be harmed by all of the same things that humans are? And if they can be harmed by all the same things humans are, how are they not just humans? Right?
Right. Well, that's the
anyway.
question.
Well, I guess that's the question.
Well,
It's like,
you're
what's the
getting into
difference?
some existential stuff that Star Trek wants you to be getting into now.
Yeah. So anyway, so Hugh is trying to help Picard find Soji. There's this really funny moment where a Borg, ex-Borg, sees Picard and just, like, off in the background says, Locutus?
Yeah, that was
like,
great.
If you like...
Look at you?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like, if
that
you
was
saw
so
your
weird.
friend.
Hey, buddy! Why you Locutus? I haven't seen you in years!
Exactly, like you see your work friend at, like, I don't know, a gay bar or something like that. You're like, Bob?
What are you doing here? Yeah, no, that made me laugh. That got me. I like that a lot.
Soji does some data super speed moves, makes a hole in the floor. She gets out. There's some chase. They wind up. Hugh and Picard take her to the Borg Queen's cell, which has some kind of escape thingy. Elnor randomly shows up and kills some Romulans and stays on the ship. And then they Picard and Soji have escaped. Hugh and Elnor have not, and they're all gonna meet up somewhere in space and take the plot to the next step next week.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty.
That's about it.
See, Glenn, how fast she did a synopsis.
But she did that really fast.
I'm going to leave now.
I mean, that is the goal, so...
God damn it.
Now, Glenn, we love having you.
Yeah.
It's debatable.
Are they making Patrick Stewart look like shit, or does he just kind of look a little like shit? He looked a little older.
What do you mean? Like,
I like that the show is not portraying that they're making him a kind of feeble old man.
I agree for sure.
Like the worry is that they go through and make him just like Picard is, from the movies, swashbuckling guy, and it's like, but they're not. They're like, he's, and all the Borg stuff with him coming on, like that Borg and Hugh, when Hugh recognizes him, and the whole heartfelt moment there.
Yeah.
That was like one of the nicest moments on the show because one, it wasn't like good. Two people going,
definitely.
Oh, I'm so fucking sad. Aren't you sad? It was like two people really connecting and happy to see each other, and
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything cynical or anything about it. He was like, "Oh man, it's so good to see."
Yeah.
This was really genuine.
Yeah. I was watching the episode where Hugh is introduced as a character, Borg, just today because I was like, he's in a couple other TNG episodes, but there's actually a really great scene between Picard and Hugh, which is towards the end of the episode because like Geordi is mostly the one who interacts with Hugh during the course of the action of the episode where. So Picard faces off and calls himself Locutus and says, and kind of goads Hugh into realizing that he's an individual by saying, you're going to help me assimilate these people. But Hugh's made friends with them, like he's started to have a connection, and that's what triggers him kind of identifying as an individual. So I don't know, like they didn't get that from this episode really at all. Like you were like, something big happened between these people, but you don't see what it was. Or why is Hugh so all the way there with Picard? Because the next time he comes back in TNG,
right.
Data's brother, I didn't watch these episodes again, Data's brother, if I recall correctly, has got some kind of like splinter Borg alt-right group.
Yeah.
If I can, and he was part of that because he's all disillusioned and upset because like the Enterprise crew gave him back his humanity and then just kind of let him go, and he's like, fuck you. But, yeah.
Right. So,
but it was really nice. That was the most genuinely well-felt part of the episode. It was like, that felt very real.
Yeah. Because I think at the end, they defeat Lore or whatever, and then Hugh takes off like with these like, hey, it's something they do in Voyager later too. Like, hey, these are nice Borgs now, and they're going to go find their own way. Right, I think. And then I guess the way they... I guess their own way was to team up with the Romulans and do this reclamation project.
But he gets less Borgy. Like, he's been unborged and he's apparently a citizen of the Federation. I don't know. I mean, like, there's like another thing I noticed, which I hadn't particularly, like, I've watched TNG pretty recently, but after watching Picard and then watching that Borg, I'm like, man, this is slow. There's no, like, these scenes are just people talking to each other for like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of it being like, hi, Picard, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to help you, right? Which is one of Hugh's lines.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's funny, someone on the Discord was saying that there seemed to be a lot of action, but also nothing happened, right? Yeah. Which seems to be pretty part of pretty good description.
Yeah, I don't know, this one and the last one, it is sort of just like, they're right, a lot is going on, but in the end of the day, like, all the change, he got Soji, which, like, great, yeah, cool, but, like, that's it, basically, like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I will say, the tone when Soji is escaping, which, kudos to the direction of the scene where she is...
Locutus.
Locutus?
Not kudos.
Sean, I'm so proud of you for getting it right.
Yeah. That's an easy one.
Kudos to whoever the direction for this episode when Soji's escaping from the radiation mist or whatever it is. Like, you see her get, like, I don't know, there was a really frantic energy to her, like, bursting through the floor that made it didn't seem human to me. And it was a small thing, but, like, I appreciate stuff like that, like, you see there's a visual difference that if you're paying attention, you can see. I'm reminded also of Michael Burnham's fight noises in Discovery, which are like,
like a feral animal.
Yeah, like shit like that sells an action scene. That sells like the urgency and everything. So I just, whether it was the actor or the direction or a combination, like that like really worked. But when Picard comes up to her during that chase, the energy of him talking to her is like a confused old man saying, "I've known you. I've always known you. Really, you have to trust me." Like, it was kind of, I don't know.
Well, his read of like "please" is so desperate, like so genuine. Like, I mean, he's great. Like, to say Patrick Stewart is good is not like a take, you know. Like, that guy's fucking awesome, but he does such a good job just conveying that, like, I lost you already. Like, I already, you know, like, I've been through this and I didn't succeed, you know, like, I need to save you. Yeah. Just like, come with me.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, I think anyone else delivering that exposition in like the span of 10 seconds, it wouldn't have worked. But because it's him.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a lot of emotion behind it, and just that like last 10 minutes worked for me. I think that was a really strong thing.
Mm-hmm. And I did like that Narek actually does try to fucking kill her. He doesn't have a at the
we were
last
talking
second,
about that.
Right,
where he's like, "Oh, but I love her. I can't let her die." It's like,
right,
no, he's
he
like,
does love her, but he knows he's got to kill her.
Yeah.
Well, and combined with the Girardi thing, like they are establishing that like people that with the Jat Vash and whoever else is in cohorts with them, like they believe that nothing is more important than what they are doing.
Right. And he doesn't pull any. He doesn't like, oh, but I'm going to give her one little chance to get away. He's like, the guy that was like, how dare you let a
round ear. We got a new slur.
How dare you let a human into our secret Scientology auditing room or whatever it is? He's like, that guy's like, no, she's getting away, and they don't.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Nobody's letting her escape.
I agree. Yeah,
Kristin,
I agree. I just wish they'd held. Sorry, are you taking my name in vain? I agree. I am glad about that. It made it worse as a kind of a romance plot, but as a sort of thriller plot, it was definitely better. I just wish they'd held off on the reveal that he was up to something a little bit longer. I think I would have enjoyed that a lot more if we didn't find out that he was, up to no good kind of immediately. If it was just like, oh, she's hooking up with this sexy Romulan who's something up to.
I agree.
I don't know if I should trust him. And it's not maybe just like generic bad boyfriend stuff, but maybe he's also like trying to find out the truth about her. Like if there was some actual mystery there instead of all the really super boring scenes with the sister, which were like every time she would come on, it would just be like, all the energy went right out of the episode. It's like, yep, thank you for confirming. I don't know why you're spending time on this thing that they're just saying what's happening. They would just go over something that we already knew.
And they could have, if they did that, they could have taken more time to entrap her.
Yeah.
Because it just shows up and they're like, they're fucking and it's great. Like there's no.
No, imagine if we weren't sure until the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you weren't sure what he was up to, if he was really trying to help her or if he was manipulating her to get information.
Right.
Like that, if you, being held in the palm of your hand, going along, that's a shitty thing to do in a romance story, okay? I'm going to get on my romance soapbox.
Yeah, there's no seduction in it. It's just like she's seduced and there we are.
Well, no, I mean, frequently it is a pretty common romance trope that one party has an ulterior motive, that they're in it, they've been paid to seduce this person, or that they're in it to get something, get a family secret or whatever, right? That's very, very common. But to make it a satisfying kind of romance conclusion, you have to have them have a change of heart, get found out, confess, do something to make it right. That wouldn't work really in this plot. Like you were saying, I don't think I would have liked it as much if he were like, no, I really actually love you and I'm going to save you from this instead of trying to kill you, right? But if we had it so it was still mysterious what his intentions were up until the last second, that's a real rug to yank out from under your audience if they've been invested in the story. Yes. And they're like, no, bam, he's going to try to kill her. Right. I would have liked that a lot more. And also just get rid of the sister character altogether. She adds nothing. She's just boring. No offense to that actress who's fine, except for the ears look bad on her. It's just the character adds the zero to it.
She does something for me, but it's all related. It's all prurient. I'm sorry.
Listen, I feel similar.
But I get and the Game of Thrones.
I like her, but not for substantive reasons.
No, not for plot reasons,
Yeah, the Lannistering that Glenn pointed out way back.
I know, maybe Romulans do that, who knows?
Talking about it just now, I wonder if...
Gets you hot.
Next time they have a scene together, I'm going to pay attention, and I'm going to rewatch too. I'm going to pay attention to the actual text of her lines, because I'm curious if maybe just the writing for those siblings is pretty thin, and it's, just like mustache twirling, like evilness. But I wonder if the actor playing Rizzo was like, you know what? This script isn't giving me much to work with. I'm going to get real weird with it just in the delivery of it. And, like, I'm curious if there's an argument to be made that the Lannistering of it was a choice made by her specifically.
I doubt it.
I don't know. I mean, the way he says patience to her in the scene when they're talking about opening the box.
Yeah.
It's all,
that feels
textual.
Yeah, that's true. That, fair point.
Yeah, it's pretty suggestive.
I blame the producer. I don't, they're Game of Thronesing it up, doing they did that on Discovery.
I blame them, but I also credit them because,
So let's get a little bit into the heart of the real problems with Picard, because there's many, and this is one of them. What makes Picard work, like I said, is the character of Picard being a real nuanced, deep character with a lot of, nuance and a lot of depth to it. I think I just said the same thing in two different ways twice.
We do that a lot.
You know what I
here.
mean, right? Like he feels like a real person. He's got a real life story which has a lot of different things in it, and he's got a lot of facets to him, right? But the genesis of Picard is 100% the same thing as Discovery, which is people like this Star Trek thing. Let's try to make some money out of it, and let's put in some stuff that we know people like. So Discovery, they're like, well, people like Spock, so let's throw Spock in there, and I don't know. Well, like, we got to be okay. Well, they like the kind of progressive stuff in Star Trek, so we'll put in a gay couple, and a badass black lady is now the lead, right? But they didn't have any kind of real heart to it, so it is just kind of I think the last time I was on, I called it like Star Trek NCIS, right? It's just like, it's an okay show, but there's not a lot of there. But Picard having this real deep character in it, and having. It has a lot more of that kind of artistic perspective. It is there. It's just a super depressing one, as I said, right? This is a show about sadness and disillusionment and disappointment and failure. This is Picard learning that his life's work has been a lie. Oh my God, how awful is that to go back and watch TNG with that in light? But it also has a whole bunch of like weird insertion stuff. Like, I think this, like, well, people like Game of Thrones, right? So let's put in some kind of vaguely incesty brother and sister. We're not going to actually go anywhere with it because I think this is still shown over the air in some places. And we're not gonna, well, the characters are gonna hook up, but apparently they're gonna feel real bad about it afterwards. So, and I don't think there's any big TV that's ever been made without that kind of interference. There's a famous story, I don't know whether or not it's true, that when they were making Star Trek Enterprise, the redheaded stepchild of Star Trek shows, they wanted to have a permanent boy band attached to the show who would perform songs in like their equivalent of 10 Forward. That they would like have an onboard boy band for some reason. I don't know if it'd be made up of cast members or just like NSYNC would be just on there, just from the early 2000s, right? So it would be of the time. Right.
Just a boy band singing Rod Stewart covers.
I don't know. Fortunately, that's an apocryphal thing. It never happened, but like, there's always studio meddling because they want to make money. They're not in it for their health, right?
Presumably because the producer said no one's going to watch a show starring Scott Bakula expecting to see a boy band. Like,
well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You could sign me up.
Yeah, it might happen.
For that. I'll pre-order that.
That's the thing with this show. It's giving all the stuff, like the backstory that you have to be a fan to get it. But it's giving all the stuff that the fans don't really want.
Exactly.
They think they're going to pull in the new people by giving what they think people want, which
Game of Thrones.
Is Game of Thrones,
but
which is like 5 years too late to Game of Thrones something anyway. So
Well, and it is, and I mean, it is confused. Like, if I had not been talking to you guys about Star Trek Picard up until this point, and I got to this episode, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Even with just the explanation that Picard has been a Borg, I would still be like, I am missing like fundamental pieces of this puzzle, and I just cannot connect. I feel like I cannot connect with this the way that like Star Trek fans can. But then you're telling me that like there's reasons for them to dislike it too. So like who are we making this for?
Exactly.
There's a whole other layer to that too, where I was reading and like there's stuff in the books and the comics that feels like necessary to fully get it.
Off.
And I don't. That's another layer that I'm not willing to go to. Like I'm sure that Una McCormick's book about Picard, it sounded from the reviews, it sounded really great and a good exploration of the lead up to the Romulan supernova and what's going on with Raffi and everything else. It's like, oh, this is great. But it feels like to really get Raffi's story on the show, you have to know that, like, which is
yeah,
it's the Fortnite
exactly
Star Wars debacle all over again.
Right.
yeah. I didn't even know about that Fortnite Star Wars thing until y'all.
It's fucking
I
wild.
don't know about that at all. Yeah, but yeah. So a big flaw I think that I think is I saw it in the premise, right, is that for us old TNG fans, we are watching it because we have nostalgia about TNG and Picard, right. But then you watch it and it's like, oh, this is grim, dark, depressing Star Trek world, whereas TNG is this optimistic utopia kind of place where, you know, humanity has progressed and we're all better than all of this stuff. And now it's like, oh, no, we've got money again, we've got drug addiction, we've got, like, classism, we've got all this shit, which is not to say that it was ever very believable that the world was all that great in TNG, but at least that's what they presented to you, right?
Right.
But for the young people who don't have that feelings about it, it's like, A, they don't care about Picard all that much, and B, is like, why is the oldest man in the world doing all this action stuff? right? Yeah. It's like, this is what my ideal Star Trek Picard show would be. It would be Picard and Guinan are hanging out at the winery and just, you know, having a glass of wine and reminiscing about the old days and talking about whatever, because those two could totally carry that as a 48-minute show. I would believe that, and I would watch that. And then every now and then, one of these characters who are doing the action plot would call them and, like, ask for advice.
Right. Yeah. Season 2, maybe you'll get your wish. So it's going to show up.
Yeah.
They should be consultants.
They're consultants because they are too old for this shit. I mean, like, Patrick Stewart is, 79, right? So I have the same feeling of watching this show as when I'm hanging out with my dad. My dad is 81. And I love my dad. He's great. And I'm really glad he's still around and he's in as good shape as he is. But it's just not the same as it used to be. Right? And, like, being with him now is like, I can remember when you were younger and you just had more, you know, more power and you were more in your prime. And it's like, and it's a little bit sad. And so watching Picard, like, this character that I have this strong, not feeling for, but this strong respect for and strong nostalgia and attachment in that way too, it's like, oh, come on, man, go retire to Florida and do some Sudokus by a pool. Like, don't be running around trying to save the universe, because that is a young person's game.
Right. Like, the way that I'm kind of going into this is like, I'm hopeful if the show ends in where things are trending more optimistic, that it's like, oh, is Chabon knows his, like, genre shit. Is he trying to do, like, dispossessed, like, show the faults in the in the utopia where it's like, okay, it can't be perfect, but here's the issues. And that's I mean, if James or Hugh or anybody, that's probably giving the show way too much credit.
Yeah.
But if the show ends up to where it's like, okay, it's not perfect, but this is an ambiguous utopia. This is how we're trending towards or trying to this optimistic future, and we're still working at it. And like, okay, then I can be there for it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've talked so much about how lame it's going to be when it's revealed that he has to save the universe. Like,
yeah,
if he were just saving a girl, you know, like,
right.
If he were just saving Data's daughter, like, fucking sold, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, let it just be that. And it's exhausting that it clearly is not, that he's, you know, he's like running around getting one over on the Tal Shiar on a Borg cube, you know, in order to save the galaxy of this plot against synthetics and this, you know, like, plot to wipe out the Rhine, like, whatever, and all this shit, you know, like, just save your dead friend's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool would that have been?
Yeah, that's the thing is when they make the stakes too high, they make them zero, right? If it's like, oh, well, we know the universe isn't actually going to end. We're not actually going to have the Borg apocalypse. Nothing that big is actually going to happen, because then you can't put any more seasons of Star Trek Picard out.
Right.
But if you make it those believable stakes that it's like just this one person, my friend's daughter is in danger because they found out she's a sin. Yeah. I have to go save her. That's a great plot. I still think Picard is too old for this shit, though.
Yeah, and then he would have been but it would have been like a dying man's quest, like, just to save his friend's daughter. And we'd be like, he's so old, but we understand, like, why this little thing matters so much to him, and that has so much. It's the same thing Discovery did. It's going to wipe out all life. And we're like, that's gobbledygook. That's nothing.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah.
it loses everything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bah.
Yeah.
But
Well, now that's kind of a bummer. I guess that's a good place to start wrapping this up.
I still like this episode.
I did too.
Yeah, I actually like this
I didn't
episode.
like it as much as the past couple. I thought it sort of hit a stride that I was enjoying, but I liked this one well enough.
Okay, because you're the one I was more curious about, because, like, watching it with Joni, who didn't know the rep, she was mad, annoyed at it for all the stuff she didn't know.
I struggled with a lot of it, and I decided early on this is going to be like, all right, well, that's not why I'm going to do, like, I'm going to look, I'm just going to see if I like it or not.
Yeah.
Just baseline, and I do like it, but I don't fucking get it. I don't know I don't know what's going on.
All right.
I thought it was a good depiction of PTSD. I thought he sold that like really, really, that
Really
felt
well.
honest to me, and I thought it wasn't a cop out, and that's a lot of points for me. I liked that.
I liked it too. Yeah, I liked it too. I was sorry that it was over when I was watching it, because I agree. I forget which one of you guys said that the last 10 minutes were really good.
Yeah, it was Glenn.
I agree. The last 10 minutes. That was Glenn. Yeah, and I liked that. I did like that they had Narek be a kind of conflicted villain, but still choose to be evil, because that he was living according to his perspective, which is always a really good thing to do with a bad villain character. Yep. I took this note, and I forgot to mention it before. The planet they're going to is called Nepenthe, which I was like, that's a thing. I have to look up what that is. It is in Greek mythology. It is a fictional drug for sorrow. It is the medicine of forgetfulness. That might end up being a bit on the nose for something.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Soji forgetting her, implanted memories or something.
Yeah.
Right, and I think the Easter egg, because that's what critical reviews are nowadays.
Lists of Easter eggs.
Yeah. I think that portal in the Borg Queen's net room. I think that's something that they pick up, or the Borg pick up in Voyager somewhere, maybe.
Maybe, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So little of Voyager is like, it has made an impression on me. I have watched all of it more than once, but it's like, I remember so little from all the actual events of that show.
I think that's that, but yeah. I don't have much else. We're not forgetting anything to do here, are we? Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Status report time, motherfuckers.
I thought we got out. I thought we escaped it.
But
Didn't.
you didn't, so let's... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you the time of day, Glenn, and...
I won't say a fucking word. Go ahead.
All right. All right, so I have passed the quarter mark for the Star Trek canon. I'm at 28.12% of all Star Trek watched, which in real terms means I am about halfway through Season 3 of TNG. And I think I have heard from you, Wade, and from others that Seasons 2 and 3 are... Or you said 3, other people said Season 2, but like this is where the show starts kind of becoming the great show that people talk about, and I am absolutely seeing that. I think I mentioned this on Twitter, but one of the earlier Season 3 episodes, The Survivors, fucking fantastic. Like, an amazing episode of Star Trek, not just TNG, but just Star Trek in general. Like, it felt like
just
what's that?
I was just going to say, hurry up and get to the end of it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because I think that'll pay dividends for watching this show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying. Hey,
Look, I didn't. Look, I'm just giving you. I'm not trying to get mad at you, Glenn. I'm just pointing.
Nobody yells at me to watch more Star Trek because I'm not watching any Star Trek.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard. But yeah, I really enjoying Season 3. I think TNG does something better than TOS did, was establishing characters beyond the
The core triad.
Exactly the core triumvirate. And because I'm really enjoying I've mentioned I really enjoy Data episodes. I'm even enjoying like the story of like Wesley and Beverly, like just seeing how that all plays out, their journey from losing her husband, his dad, and Data's journey is really interesting to me. Riker is fascinating to me.
Uh-huh.
Because I I'm kind of curious how Riker is perceived through like current sensibilities, because his sexcapades are, I mean, it's
legendary.
Yeah. Well, just the idea that, I don't know, just the fact that like he and Troy seem to be like very casually an item, but they care about each other. But like they have not.
Well, that's that future that Roddenberry wanted, where like even if you have an ex, they're all interpersonal human problems have been solved. So that's why they're exes, but they're fine and everything's copacetic, so they don't have any problem.
But it's funny that they have not, like, and I guess this is part of why they wanted to establish like, no, this is just how things are. But like they like, because for a long time I was wondering like, is something happening between these two characters? Because I know they end up getting married later.
Well, that's a good, probably a good segue into next week of Star Trek Picard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just watch all of it, yeah.
He's in that.
Just watch all of the rest of TNG.
Yeah.
What's that?
Just watch all of the rest of TNG to get the backstory for this, like, probably 2-minute throwaway scene. Where, but it's fine. Yeah, I think that Riker and Troy are sort of together, but not together. I think they hook up every now and then.
Right.
But they're not actually an item, you know?
Well,
because she hooks up with other people, he does all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like at first I was like, oh, is Riker just like just a shitty boyfriend to her, sleeping around with all these like alien heads of state, and like, but then they one of the episodes with Majel Barrett as her mom, she says like, oh no, this is something that happens to Betazoid women. Like I told him about this when we started seeing each other, and so that to me was really interesting. It's like, oh, they just kind of very subtly confirmed like, no, like they're just like on and off, and like that's like you said, it's all copacetic, and like they basically seem like they might be like kind of like a poly couple, but not totally. I'm just curious how they're defined with like modern sensibilities. It's
Look, I don't know about you, but I have a pretty good track record of remaining good friends with all my exes.
No,
but the thing is,
well, here's something that's I was going to say that people, our conception of dating has changed a lot in the 20th century. Yeah. That the kind of like the way that people dated even before like World War II, right, between World War I and World War II, would be considered really weird for now. Like the kind of like if you date someone for a while, you'll kind of eventually end up in an exclusive relationship with them, right? People didn't used to do that. They would date casually lots of people until they got married, basically. So this is just what dating is like in the future. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess really what I'm trying to say is TNG is way hornier than I was expecting it to be.
Oh yeah, super horny. Yeah, it's great.
Data fucks like
pretty
very early on in the series. He and
like third episode.
He and Tasha hook up, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and then I feel like they were like didn't know what to do with that ever again.
Right, they did like they only mention it like after she dies, and
all right.
They actually use it in Measure of Romantic proof that he's capable of deeper emotions, because he keeps the message from her as a sentimental object of sentimental value, because they fucked.
All right, blow the train whistle.
Okay, it's not a train whistle; it's a bosun whistle.
Blow the train whistle.
No, God damn it.
That was a train whistle.
Oh no. Status update just self-destructed. It's never coming.
Oh, status update can never return. Oh no.
Omega 0011, whatever the fuck the code is from 4 or whatever. Or I guess.
You're a fucking dork, man.
Well, no. It's the other episode. It's also the
destruction codes come up more.
Let that be your last battlefield from TOS, where
those won't be your last self-destruct sequence. Delta Alpha Theta Picard 6 or whatever. All right, but this is I mean I hate to cut everybody off, but
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, I don't know. I'm good. I don't have anything else to say about this shit. It's good.
Yeah.
Eleanor's gonna kill a lot of Romulans next episode.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Fucking sign me up.
And then
that guy, my only thing to say is like that actor is terrible. I looked at his. Yeah. I was like, I looked up his like, is he like super young and has no credits? And yes that is the case. This is his third credit on IMDb.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. He's so bad.
He's a Kiwi model or something. And then,
that's exactly the energy this character needs.
He's pretty hot. And he does not wear a shirt under his like elf robe,
Right.
which is pretty dirt
No, of
baggy.
course he's definitely not wearing underwear either.
Well, the Noldor like just do things differently.
All right, well,
Stop making up words.
No, it's
Tolkien. Don't get him started. Don't get him started.
I'm not getting started.
Don't get me started roasting your ass.
Let's just.
Sean?
I'm just thinking about the next week's episode, and and I can't.
And I'm gonna recite all of the.
God damn it, Glenn!
Glenn.
You're stepping on the
Glenn.
sign off.
I can't Picardly wait for you to shut the fuck up. No.
Yeah. Bye.
Sorry, I love you, Glenn.
I love you too.
You're fine.
Bye.
Soji has dreams she can't remember. Karnov wants to exploit them. His sister wants to get that box open. Naval's gonna open it with sex. Picard's got PTSD because he was a Borg, which I definitely knew coming into the series. I know Star Trek, I know what it is. Girardi's acting suspiciously. She fucks Rios. Star Trek's really horny. No flashback! No flashback! Ain't ya had enough of this stuff? Picard and Hugh rescue Soji. But Tal Shiar find her home world. Soji saw all of herself. Eleanor hangs back. Hugh hangs back as well. Lots of Romulans are gonna get their fucking heads cut off. Can't pick hardly wait. I can't wait. Picardly 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 wait.
Yeah, so I hope that wasn't too traumatic, Kristen.
No, it was great. Thank you for having me on. I can't. I mean, you've already said it, but I was going to say I can't Picardly wait till next time I talk with you guys about Star Trek.
Yeah.
Kristen, don't leave me alone with them.
Lending us some much-needed credibility.
Oh, thank you. My one prediction for next week is I don't have a prediction for next week. I just really hope Control is not involved because that's just one of the stupidest things from Discovery. I do not want to see propagated through the canon. I
can't think of anything more boring for them to incorporate. The most I'm willing to accept. No, God damn it. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.